In those moments of stress and overwhelm, we can easily put on a brave face, plow through the things that we think need doing, and turn off any emotional response to our outer worlds as well as our inner world. We might notice we dive more into our work or find distractions to misguide us into not allowing ourselves to be in the moment and work through whatever is coming up for us. Often these distractions can be a sign of an imbalance in the third eye chakra, Ajna, and a signal for us to take stock, slow down, and be in the moment to reconnect to the self. I'm Sherlock. This is Benson, and we're very grateful you're here to flow, breathe, and discover new aspects of who you are and how you want to show up in the world. If you're finding value in this video already, I invite you to hit the like button. And when we get to the end of the flow, if you enjoyed the practice, consider subscribing so we can continue to share more and help others grow in the process. In these moments of distraction, approach with humility. Find acceptance with the idea that you don't know everything, you don't have the answers to everything, and in this acceptance, you can invite the notion of being open to new ways of thinking, open to accept new experiences in life. Focus on the space in the midbrain in each pose as we meet on the mat. We'll begin with a short pranayama, Nadi Shodana, to balance both hemispheres of the brain and help us focus on that one focus point, the midbrain. So grounding down through the sit bones, reach up through the crown, really elongate through the spine. Just notice that nice, beautiful fullness of the length of the neck. Eyes are closed. Send the breath into the seat as we arrive in this space with our breath. Fill the torso like water filling a glass as the breath blooms and blossoms from the seat into the collarbone. The exhale is softening, it's releasing. Shoulders fall away from the ears. There's a gentle guidance of a contraction of the pelvic floor as the navel draws toward the spine. One more full Agni breath here before we begin our Nadi Shodana. Allow the breath to rise from the seat on the inhale and lower and fall and surrender on the exhale. Bringing the right thumb to the right nostril, index finger and middle finger can just rest on the forehead. Exhale completely through the left nostril. Inhale. Release the right nostril, block the left with the ring finger. Exhale through the right. Inhale. Release the left, block the right, exhale. Inhale, begin to extend the length of each inhale and exhale. Taking it to a count of 6. If you find that 6 is a little too long, you can bring it back to a count of 3, and over time you can work that length up to a count of 6. Continue with our alternate nostril breathing, combined with our equal inhale length to equal exhale length, our samavriti. And begin to take the gaze in and up to the midbrain now as we become familiar with the breathing pattern. Continue with the breath work for the next minute or so, and I'll let you know when it's time to return. Taking your final round now through each nostril. Release the hand, resting it in the knee or just on the lap. Keep the eyes closed and allow the body and the mind to settle into this experience that you've created. Allowing any sensations throughout the body to shift and move. Paying attention to any subtleties of changes within the mind. Gently bow the head now. Flutter the eyelids open. Roll over the knees. Come to find Balasana, child's pose. So just draw the hips back to the heels and the arms out towards the top of the mat. Allow the breath to bloom and blossom from the seat, through the back body, into the collarbone. The exhale, guided by that gentle contraction of the pelvic floor, navel draws to spine. Maybe you notice you're able to surrender the hips a little closer towards the heels. 2 more full Agni Raj breaths here. Breathing deep into the pelvic bowl. Exhale. Witness as the breath travels down the back line of the body. Invited back to the pelvic bowl. Inhale, rise to a neutral tabletop. We're going to step the hands forward just a little bit as we wave the body forward. Bring the belly towards the earth. Elbows underneath the shoulders. Spread the hands, the fingers nice and wide. Press into the palms. Gently draw the forearms back toward the body, lifting and opening through the heart space, through the collarbone. Lift the gaze. Gently draw the jawline back. Take 1 more full breath here. Come to rest the belly and the chest back on the earth. Send the hands back towards the back of the mat. Palms facing down. Breathe in. Lift the chest. Lift the chin. Lift the legs. Energetically draw the inner thighs toward each other. Take an inhale. Lift and lengthen. Exhale. Navel draws to spine. Inhale now. We're going to flip the hands. Send the arms up to the sky. Lift the legs. Coming into our Shalabhasana. Inhale, lift and lengthen. 1 more breath. Breathing in, invite the breath to open and expand through the torso. Exhale, release. Bring the forehead to rest on the hands. Come into crocodile pose just for a brief moment. Allow the body to recalibrate. Allow the breath to settle. All the while, our focus remains on that point in the midbrain. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders, press into the palms, engage the core. Send the hips back to the heels, come back to child's pose. 2 more breaths here. Inhale, blooms and blossoms from the seat, rising into the collarbone. Exhale, draws the navel closer toward the spine. There's a gentle dance of the breath with the body. Breathe in, rise to all fours. Tuck the toes. Send the tail to the sky. Come into Ardha Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Feet are about hips width apart. Micro bend in the knees. Shoulders, shoulder blades melt down the back. Spreading the fingertips nice and wide. Internally rotate the elbows toward each other to open up through the collarbone. As you inhale, send the tail up and back as the breath enters the pelvic bowl. Really find that nice, long, elongated spine from the fingertips through to the hips, and then the hips through to the back of the heels. One more breath. Inhale, gazes to the top of the mat. Step the feet between the hands. Hands come to the shins. Ardha Uttanasana. Draw the shoulder blades toward each other, opening through the collarbone. Reach through the crown, pull through the tail. Exhale, fold forward, interlace the hands behind the back, allow them to fall toward the earth. Head and neck hang. Opening up through the shoulders, micro bending the knees if you need. Focusing on the midbrain. Send the breath to the seat. Exhale, maybe you soften a little further, the arms and the hands come closer toward the earth. Beautiful. Release the hands as we inhale. Sweep the arms overhead. Rise, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to heart center, Samastiti. Inhale, lower the hands. Sweep the arms overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Thumbs point back, shoulder blades melt down the back. Engage the core. Send the tail toward the earth. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Head and neck hang. Inhale, hands to shins, Ardha Uttanasana, nice long spine. Exhale, step the right foot back, come into your lunge, build your foundation, so stack the back heel over the toes, engage that back leg, and as we inhale, sweep the arms forward, rise into crescent, release the hands, bring them to interlace behind the back. Inhale, lift and open the heart space towards the sky. Exhale, we're going to hinge at the hips, lean the body forward, bring the left shoulder on the inside of the left knee, allow the arms to fall to the earth, coming into our humble warrior. 2 more full breaths. Breath comes from the pelvic bowl, filling the torso. Beautiful. Inhale, lift. Come back to crescent, release the hands, sweep the arms overhead. Thumbs point back. Exhale, frame the front foot. Step back into plank. Whole body activation. Lower down, knees, chest, chin. Untuck the toes as you inhale, press into the palms. Lift the thighs away from the earth, come into upward facing dog. Shoulder blades melt down the back. Gaze is up, jawline is back. Exhale, tuck the toes. Send the tail to the sky. Downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep the right leg to the sky, 3-legged down dog. Exhale, bring the knee to the chest. Step the foot between the hands. Build your foundation. Inhale, sweep the arms forward, rise into crescent. Exhale, step off the back foot. Come to standing. Shift the weight into the right foot. Bend into the right knee. Bring the left knee over the right. We're going to come into our Garudasana, eagle pose. If you can, see if you can tuck your left foot behind the right ankle. If this is a little too far for you, just bring the left toes to rest on the earth, still bending into the knees. I have my arms out to help me find my balance. Engage the core. As we inhale, we're going to sweep the right arm underneath the left, interlace the wrists, bring the palms to meet. Good, lift the elbows to shoulder height. Draw the thumbs away from the face. Focus on the breath. Fill the torso like water filling a glass. Exhale, navel draws to spine, gentle engagement of the core. One more breath. Inhale, release from the twist, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Allow the head and neck to hang. Inhale, rise, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to heart center, Samastiti. Lower the hands, inhale, sweep the arms overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, hands to shins, nice flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step the left foot back, come into your lunge, build your foundation. Inhale, sweep the arms forward, rise into crescent, release the hands, interlace the fingers. Take an inhale, lift and open the heart space. Exhale, hinge at the hip, fold forward, bring the right elbow to the inside of the right knee and allow the arms and the hands to fall toward the earth. Focus on the breath. Inhale, rises from the seat, blooming and blossoming into the collarbone. Exhale is guided by that gentle contraction of the pelvic floor. Focus is still on the midbrain. Inhale, engage the core, rise, sweep the arms overhead, come back to crescent. Thumbs point back, shoulder blades melt down the back. Exhale, frame the front foot, step back into plank. Whole body activation, option to lower down knees, chest, chin. Or draw the elbows to the side body, lower halfway, chaturanga. Come to the tops of the feet. Push through the palms. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, tuck the toes. Send the tail to the sky. Downward facing dog. Breathe in. Send the left leg to the sky. Three-legged down dog. Breathe out, knee to the chest. Step the foot between the hands. Inhale, sweep the arms forward, rise into crescent. Lift and lengthen the torso. Exhale, step forward. Shifting the weight into our left leg, bend into the left knee. Rest the right knee over the left. Maybe send the arms out to find your balance. Maybe you're resting the right toes on the earth. As we exhale, we're going to bring the left arm under the right. Interlace the hands. Bring the palms to meet. Lift the elbows to shoulder height. Bend into the knees. Draw the thumbs away from the face. Focus is on the midbrain. Find your drishti, your focus point. Inhale. Notice as the breath fills the torso. Life force energy moving through the body. One more breath. Inhale, rise. Unwind from the twist. Sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Uttanasana. Allow the head and neck to hang. Deep bend in the knees. Allowing the chest to rest on the thighs. Grasp hold of either elbows. Come into our Ragdoll. Maybe you find a lengthening of the spine with each inhale. And a softening deeper into the fold with each exhale. Take a gentle rock into the balls of the feet and notice the differences of muscle activation throughout the body. Maybe there's a different stretch through the back line of the legs. Inhale, hands to shins, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bend into the knees, bring the buttocks to the earth, send the legs out wide. Ooh. Grounding down through the sit bones. You might have a micro bend in the knees to give you a little more space. Maybe the legs are a little closer toward each other. But as we inhale, we're going to lift up through the spine, create that nice elongation. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Just allow the body to lean forward. Now, you might be in a slightly tighter body today, so you might be up here. But if you're in a slightly more open body, you can begin to walk the hands forward. And maybe you're taking a graduated approach. Toes are pointing to the sky. Inhale, lift and lengthen. So we begin to recalibrate the body and the breath. Find that gentle softening with each exhale. Maybe deepen into the forward fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, soften the body. Gaze is still inward. Our forward folds help to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, our rest and digest state. And in this state, we can feel more clarity, think more clearly, we can find an expansion of both the body and the mind. Breathing in, gently walk the hands back towards the torso. Lift, come back to a seat. Lift and lengthen the spine. We're going to rotate the torso toward the right leg. Hinge at that hip crease. Allow the torso to fall over the right leg as we come into a side forward fold. Breathe in again, lift and lengthen. Breathe out, soften the body. One more breath. Inhale, lift the torso. Rotate towards the left. Breathe in, lift and lengthen the spine. Breathe out, release the torso over that left leg. Notice any differences in how far you can deepen into the pose with each side. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the crown. Exhale, maybe you go a little deeper. Good. Breathe in, come back to seated. Bring the legs to meet, soles of the feet to meet the earth. Lower the back towards the mat. Press into the feet, lift the hips, shift them over to the right just a little bit. Extend the left leg out long. Draw the right knee across the body using the left hand. Send the right arm out to the side. Gaze follows the right hand. Shoulders remain connected to the earth. As we inhale, we send the breath from the seat through the twist. Exhale, navel draws to spine. One more full breath here. Breathe into the twist. Gaze is still in toward the midbrain. Gently unwind from the twist. Bring the soles of the feet to the earth. Press into the feet. Lift the hips. Shift them over to the left. Extend the right leg out long. Draw the left knee across the body using the right hand. And send the left arm out to the side as the shoulders find that connection with the earth. Gaze moves over toward that left hand. Notice, with each inhale, the breath creates space within the body. And with each exhale, the body softens and releases any tension or discomfort. We can gradually discover any areas of tension, any areas we need to work through to find acceptance in our twists. Just as we can find a softening of the body with our exhale on the mat, we can find a softening of the nervous system and the mind with the breath when we're off the mat. One more breath. Unwind from the twist. Extend the legs out long. Allow the feet to fall to the edges of the mat. Arms rest beside the body. Palms facing up. Gently tuck the shoulder blades underneath the chest. Tilt the chin away from the chest, encouraging the natural curve of the spine. And begin to relax the muscles in the face. Notice as you soften the muscles in the eyebrows, in the cheeks, in the jaw. There's a surrender of the head, the neck, the shoulders, arms, surrendering of the hips, the thighs, the calves, and the heels, as they accept the invite from Mother Earth to release and let go. To release and accept that vital connection between you and her. Become aware of the breath. Observe its natural inflow and outflow, as though it's being guided by the natural flow of the ocean's tide. Recognize each point within the body still connected to the earth. And begin now to find some movement in the fingers and the toes. Gently sway the head and neck from side to side. When you're ready, you can roll to your most comfortable side and observe. Begin to rise to a comfortable seat, eyes still closed. Breathing in, sweep the arms out and up, and just draw in the energy of this practice and cup that energy in the palms of your hands as you bring them to meet at heart center. Thumbs find a connection with the heart space as you cultivate a sense of gratitude for your body, for your breath, and for your mind. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for your practice today. Thank yourselves for coming to the mat. If you want to continue on with the exploration of your third eye, I recommend this meditation on self-reflection just up here. Keep making magic in this world from your space, at your own pace, because that is exactly what the world needs. Namaste.